I know you. Wanna play a game? So far in what you could loosely call your life, you have spent the majority of your time on YouTube watching endless cat videos and meme compilations. All the while, content creators work night and day to produce quality content, only for you to scroll past to the next vine like it didn't even exist. This ends today.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for exclusive content and to know when we go live for your chance to interact with Jigsaw himself. Heat Ratio Network. Sports with attitude.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Sunday morning, and usually, right, this is the weekly sports blend. But today, I wanted to do a little something different. Okay, I wanted to do a little look back at the week that was, and we will continue next week with the weekly sports blend. Not going away. Just want to take a little break because I think there's a lot of symbolic things that are going on right now in the world of sports, locally and nationally. So next week we will be back. The year 2000 will be, it's the millennial year, right? Y2K. That's the year. We're going to look at year 2000 in sports next week. But this week, we're going to break down all the local avenues that have everybody scrambling. Number one, let me just say, I'm going to give a shout out to the Heat Ratio Sports team. As always, we have so many tremendous things going on. I know not to toot our own horns, but seriously, the time and the grind that we put in. Check us out at Heat Ratio Sports. Give us a follow. A lot of upcoming things going on. I can tell you right now, on Tuesday, I will be interviewing a one-on-one with the owner from Yuengling Brewery, which is Wendy. Wendy will be joining me live right here. We'll be talking about, number one, how the brewery got started, the history of Yuengling, as well as the partnership with the Philadelphia Phillies. And get this, we will be giving away five boxes. 5 boxes we'll be giving away right here on this program. They are prize packs that include an Aaron Nola Philadelphia Phillies official shirt, a 6-pack of the Yuengling that you see right behind me, the Yuengling official hat, the Yuengling official baseball, Yuengling official backpack, Yuengling official glass with the Phillies emblem etched on it. A lot of good things coming up. We still have the bobblehead giveaways coming on. We're running them all month. Sister Jean, Joe Laurinardi, and there's a lot of other things as well. So we appreciate all our support. What's up, Jamar? And again, shout out Jamar, JD Oracle, for that intro that you just seen. New logo up there on the right, just killing it as always for the network, always coming up with new things. That dude just never sleeps. I thought I didn't sleep. This dude doesn't sleep. I'll tell you that right now. Adam, what's up? My man, I know you got the 2000, so keep that, right? Keep that. I was all ready to, Adam. I had all the, listen, 2000 is a great year for me, so I had a lot of things jotted down, a lot of statistics, but what we're going to do next week, we're going to change that show a little bit around, and I'm going to add some more visuals to that show as well. So we're not only going to talk it, we're going to live it as well. Let's live it. Let's live in the moment. And also, I can tell you this right now for you local people out there. Listen, I'm a Philly suburbs guy. We are working on having a head basketball coach of the girls team for Archbishop Wood. They just won the state championship. We're gonna get a couple local kids on the program as well, and bring you up to speed of everything going on locally with youth sports as well. It just, listen, we're just doing a lot of different things here, which I love. Absolutely. But let's dive right into the week that was in Philadelphia, and it started right off with a bang. And I don't understand why everybody was having a fit about Joe Flacco signing with the Eagles. Now, me and Mikey Googs went live, Heat Ratio Live last week on Tuesday. Great episode, a lot of energy. We were all, okay, listen, sign him in, you bring him as a backup. But then when the word came out, number one, of the money that he got, and number two, of the fact that you could tell that he was coming in here to compete, that he was given every opportunity to be a starter on his team, you had to question it a little bit and understand what the hell is going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. Because if you're all in on Jalen Hurts, Competition is good for everybody, right? I understand that, but you brought a guy in and you gave him an incentive-based contract that basically says you absolutely expect him to play some meaningful games. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. And then a week later, not even a week, 4 or 5 days later, you trade up. Okay, well, you attempt to trade up to get Zach Wilson, which is a quarterback that you so love and you so desire. So there's a lot of things going on with this team that I don't understand. But one thing, Adam, I agree. I think he will be a solid backup and a mentor. I honestly agree with that. A lot of people do not think Joe Flacco, okay, is the guy. Now, what I will say to all the people that are hating on Joe Flacco, and for all the people to say Joe Flacco has never helped anybody. Okay, I will say this. He definitely is a me guy. Joe has not had the opportunity or the he's had the opportunity, but if you go back and historically look at the situations that he was in, he's never been the stand-up guy that wants to mentor people along. But he did do a good job with Lamar Jackson. The reason why I think that's so symbolic is because Jalen Hurts is a mobile quarterback. So why not bring a guy in like Joe Flacco, number one, who is a veteran, number one, who has a ring, number one, who's a local guy, and number one, who has seen the evolution of Lamar Jackson with his legs and his mobility? Why not bring him in to maybe help Jalen Hurts understand, okay, listen, I know you're mobile, but you need to have to work on your accuracy. You need to have to work on your timing. You need to work on your sight vision, your reads. There's so many things that go into the quarterback position. And I think that is very, very important. And I don't think people are looking at that. They're overlooking the fact. They run away and say, what has Joe Flacco done? If you listen, I'm going to tell you something. Go back. Look at the statistics. Look at some game film. Last year, he did not play bad for the New York Jets when called upon. I mean, listen, I was just on the line change with John Jansen, Fox Sports The Gambler, Friday night, and me and him had a half-hour conversation. Great stuff. I'm gonna pod that up a little later so you guys can listen. It was a really, really good interview. And we both agreed that, listen, if you watched Joe Flacco play for the Jets last year, he showed he could still ball. Okay, he can still throw the deep ball. He's still there. As a fantasy perspective, any of you fantasy football players out there, Jamison Crowder had some of the best weeks under Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco could still play. So that's not a bad thing. I would much rather have Joe Flacco go into the game than I would have Nate Sudfeld, right? Or Josh McCown. So I think it's a really good signing. I do. I enjoy it. I like it. I welcome it. So, and then we move on. We see what happens. But the trade that everybody's going nuts about, I don't understand why. I don't. I'm telling you right now, and I am that. I'm not going to say I'm not that guy. I am that guy. I am the guy that's going to come on here and say, I told you so. And if you don't like it, get the step in. It is what it is. Don't follow. I can't help you because I am that guy because I get told so many times that Jigsaw's crazy. I get so many times that Jigsaw doesn't know what he's talking about. But what I can tell you right now is 2 to 3 weeks ago, I said on 3 different programs that the Eagles would not stay at 6, that they would move back, and they were going to draft the best offensive or defensive lineman in the draft. That's what I said. And what did they do? They moved back. Why did they move back? Because you have to look at the landscape of this draft. It is so quarterback heavy. It really is. People have to get over the fact that they feel like they had to get a guy like Kyle Pitts, and they had to get a guy like Jamar Chase. They just have to get over that because the Eagles were never, ever, ever going to draft a guy at number 6 that was a wide receiver or any kind of offensive weapon. It's not their MO. You have the same people in line. They weren't going to do it. So you guys were all false hope. It was all false hope, especially the fact that they drafted a guy, Jalen Reagor, who they feel is their number 1 guy. Okay, that they went in the first round for last year. So that you have to look at the landscape of the way that the Eagles operate, and you have to look at the history of the drafts. Okay, so I definitely seen them moving back. I like the move back because I still think at number 12 you are going to get a stud performer. Now, let's think about this. The Philadelphia Eagles are looking at a division. They're looking at the Dallas Cowboys, who have 3 very talented wide receivers. They're looking at the Washington football team that has three very good offensive weapons. I won't say receivers, because I'll say two. You have McLaurin, who's very good. You have Curtis Samuel, who's very good. Then you have tight end Jordan. You have Thomas, who's very good, right? So you have to look at that perspective. Then you go to the Giants, who just signed Kenny Galladay. They still have Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, right? They have a very, very good nucleus as well. Who's going to cover those guys, right? So don't tell me that the Eagles aren't thinking, you know what? If there's an absolute stud at the cornerback position and we have the opportunity to pick up another first round pick in the process, still be able to move back. Listen, I'm telling you right now, why not do it? And I wouldn't be surprised if they move back again. I'm telling you, I would not be shocked if the Eagles still get the 12 and they still have guys there. I still think they're targeting the corner. I do. I just, for me, there's so many different. I know a lot of these mock drafts have Jalen Waddle dropping at the wide receiver position. A lot of people say Waddle is better. He's a better receiver, probably one of the best in the draft. I still don't think the Eagles pulled the trigger. I don't want to get everybody upset, but the Eagles are no way drafting a wide receiver. I'm telling you that right now. They're not drafting a wide receiver. They're not. They're either going to draft the best overall offensive lineman that falls to them in the first round, or they may draft a cornerback. But tell me the latest cornerback that they selected in the first round. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the last guy was Lito Shepherd. So, again, you have to look at the historic factor of the Philadelphia Eagles when we talk about the NFL draft. Like we're all getting excited about what we think they should do, but you have to start looking about what they will do. Right? That's the problem. So, again, Adam, what's up, buddy? Checking in, says I saw they are not sold on Hurts and they are hoping a quarterback falls at 12. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing: if they're not sold on Hurts, that's fine, but you need to figure that out now, because if you're not sold on Hurts, let's not waste a year. Now, it's different if you have your questions about him, you want to let him play and see what happens, that's fine. But if you're already has a mindset that Jalen Hurts is not your guy, then then you're doing yourself a disservice right now, because you're moving in a direction, you're rebuilding this team. And if you're not rebuilding them around the proper person, then what's the point? It's almost absolutely a wasted year in a division that could potentially be won with 7 or 8 games, right? We do play in the NFC East. So if Jalen Hurts balls out a little bit, there's no reason to believe that they will not 100% make the playoffs. There's just not. It's possible. I say corner, right? Adam, I'm with you. I still think that there are so many different parts of this draft that are up for grabs. We all know that the top 4, I'd say top 4 out of 5 picks are going to be quarterbacks. We all know that. If not 5 out of 6, right? We all know that. We understand. But it could go so many different ways. It all depends on where those quarterbacks go. It is going to depend on what the Eagles do. Now, the Eagles sitting at 12, if you look across the board, every single one of these mock drafts now updated are exactly what we're talking about. Saying the Eagles move back to do what? To take a corner, to take a defensive player, right? I could definitely see that. Now, I have one mock draft that I looked at that had Trey Lance drop all the way to 13 and going to the Chicago Bears. I don't think that happens. I think if Trey Lance starts to drop, somebody's going to jump up and grab Trey Lance, right? It's exactly what's going to happen. So I feel like the Eagles are in a really good situation. I do. I think there's a lot of good talent. I still think they like J.C. Horn a lot. I know they like Patrick Surtain. And again, if you can get an Alabama player, especially a corner that good, I would go all in. I really would. I don't see them drafting a corner as much as I like it. I don't see it happening. Right? I don't see it happen. I'll tell you what I see, okay? What I see in this draft is potentially see two offensive linemen that are exactly in that area of where the Eagles move back to. Okay, I see Rashawn Slater. Okay, you see Tucker. Okay, you also see Darisaw. So they're names that you're going to consistently see. And I'm telling you, when you build a new team, when you retool, when you rebuild, you go through the trenches. You do it all the time. Listen, I really think they would love to have Sewell, but I think Sewell's going to go in the top 10. I still think this is a move back to get an offensive lineman. I still think the offensive lineman to me is where they go. I do. Vinny, what's up? Moving to move back would be tolerable. Well, here's the thing, Vinny. I'm not going to disagree with you. The problem is, Howie, you can't trust the guy, right? You can't trust his track history. You have no idea what he's going to do. So I'm going to give you a little bit of positivity here, in my opinion, of why this move happened so early. Now, one of the things that was said I said, this is from me, it's from Jigsaw. So when I was on with John Jansen on Friday night, I said, you know why this move could have happened early? Because maybe they already said that they understand that they've got caught with their pants down plenty of times in the past when they've been on the clock and certain things have happened and they weren't prepared. So now they make this move early. They have enough time to give them that 1A, 1B, and 1C option. Because I think they're honestly, I'm telling you, they're formulating a plan to where if this is the case, everybody moving up now gives them more of a sense about exactly how this draft is going to go because it is so quarterback driven in the top 10. It gives them a really good sense. It gives a good sense about the quarterbacks. It gives a good sense about a couple wide receivers. So I still think they're plotting for offensive line. This is what they're plotting for, in my opinion. Okay, so I think that what they're going to do is they're going to move back until they get the guy that they want while picking up other picks in the process. And I still think this is a very deep draft. Listen, Mark Drumheller, my buddy, he coming up again at 11 o'clock right here, betting for breakfast. Him and Dave going to check out the Golf Classic, right? They're all about it. But one thing Mark does, Mark talks about everything. And what Mark did do is he put out a tweet that specifically said, listen, there's a lot of people at the end of this draft, at the end of the first round, like last year when people selected Justin Jefferson, who wound up being one of those guys. So there is those opportunities. Vinny says, JC, listen, if they go corner, I'm okay with it. I'm just looking at the past history of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see them drafting a cornerback. I just don't. My man Jamar Jackson says not enough picks are going to pay that. Listen, you never know. They have 11 picks right now in this draft. 11 picks. They have 11 picks, right? More than any other team in the NFL, and I think it'll be more. And they're probably going to move some to next year. Okay. You also have to remember this perception that if they aren't sold on Jalen Hurts, they pick themselves up another first-round pick following year, knowing they'll be bad this year, and say, you know what, we have 2 first-round picks we could couple up to move up to get an absolute stud. If there is one, because I don't follow college football, if there is one to come out next year, who knows? There's a lot of things going on with this move back. Yeah, Trey Lance is Mitch Kibitsky, part 2. I wouldn't completely disagree. Adam says the second and third round wide receiver and offense. Yeah, you're right. Listen, it's deep. I get it. I do. It's deep, and there's so many different areas that they can hit. Vinny says, keep in mind when Sirianni started with the Colts, they dread. Listen, you're right. The thing is, I think Sirianni has zero play into this pick. He has nothing he has into this pick at all. Gene checking in says they can't plot for O-line. Not necessarily, Gene. I disagree with that. I do. I understand they have Brandon Brooks. I'm looking at your comments as they're coming in. I understand they have Lane Johnson. Okay, but they also have an older Jason Kelsey who's only going to play for one more year. Are you all in on Selamalo? your left tackle is very questionable. You went up and got Andre Dillard, who's showing that he may not be able to play. You have Jordan Mailata, who I don't know if you could trust at the left tackle position. So that blind side position is a position of need. And I'm just saying, when Andy Reid took over this team, what was their first signing? It was offensive lineman John Runyon. He had bookends for an entire year with him and Trey Thomas, and I would not be surprised if this plot is to get, because here's the thing, you can't miss. You can't miss, right? You can't miss. Right. Gene, tackles. That's what I'm saying. Right? You're saying tackles. Absolutely. I still think this is what they're doing to me. This is a move back to get the best offensive lineman in the draft. This is what they're doing. Okay. And you're going to move back until that tackle falls to you. Right? You're going to move back. This is what they're going to do. This is my opinion. That's it. My opinion. They're not drafting an offensive weapon at number 12. And if they got to go from 12 to 15 or 16, they're going to do it. And they're going to pick up another pick. And then we're all going to be pissed off, but we're not going to understand that the reason why they're doing that is they're actually building a roster the right way. They're building, they're building a roster the right way. I'm going to say this again. I love the wide receiver position. I love it. But can we look at what happened this year in the Super Bowl? Can we look at all the offensive weapons in the world? I mean, yeah, Tom Brady is a magic man, so that's why they won. Okay, but, you don't win Super Bowls based on your wide receiving core. Okay, you don't win Super Bowls based on that. You win your Super Bowls because you're able to run the ball with a great offensive line. You're able to protect your quarterback, and you're able to get to the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. So I am a firm believer that you build the team within the trenches, just like the great Andy Reid said, and I will continue to harp on that. So for me, this is what you do. You get your stud offensive lineman. And Gene, you're right that Lane is the highest paid right tackle that also restructured, that we also don't know if he's going to be 100%. Brandon Brooks, highest paid right guard. We don't even know if Brandon Brooks is going to be able to play at that level once again. We have no idea about Brandon Brooks. We have a ton of question marks. A ton. Dillard, first rounder, absolutely, and he sucked. He was terrible. Right? Like, no offense, but he was not very good. He had emotional issues. He couldn't pick up the playbook, and he just was not very good. So, again, that could have been another wasted pick. We don't know, but the good thing is he's on a rookie deal, so we have time to try to see if he can work out. But if Stoutland can't work out Andre Dillard, then he's just going to have to go away, man. It's a shame, but going to have to go away. Adam. Yeah, they need offensive line to protect the quarterback. Absolutely. Gene, listen, nowhere on this show did you hear me say they take a center or a guard in the first round. I said that their biggest need is that left tackle, right? The biggest need is his left tackle. So listen, again, Gene, he didn't play. Listen, I think it is fair to say. It is fair to say, because what you do is you watch it. Number one, you watch this play. Number two, you watch the way, if you go inside the bubble and understand the way that people had a tiptoe around Andre Dillard, okay, being in an emotional collapse, right? Here's the thing. For me, that's a mental issue. Right? So, yeah, he did go in and he did not play very well. He did suck. And you know what? If I play a sport and I go on the field and I suck, I want somebody to tell me I suck. So I'm not afraid to say the guy sucked. Okay? He did. And I guarantee you that if you ask Andre Dillard if he's a straight up guy and he didn't play well, he'll agree. Right? These athletes, they look, they see, they understand. They don't have to listen to me or you or anybody else tell them that they sucked that game. They know if they did, right? 100%. Okay, 100%. So Gene says, Spencer, I don't watch college, so I'll go with Gene. Spencer Rattler is a big quarterback for next year. Maybe, just maybe, right? I don't know, just maybe this is what they're doing. I don't know, but I think it gives them an opportunity. I do. Adam says they need an offensive line to protect the quarterback. Absolutely. Vinny, Howie's not the guy to rebuild this. Now that I agree with, Vinny. Unfortunately, though, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. I don't, Howie's here. And like I said, the only good part I could say about this trade back is this gives him extra time to consult with whoever he does, maybe it's somebody different. I don't know, but maybe this gives him some time right now to be able to formulate a plan that, number one, works out, and number two, that gives him the options that if what he expects to happen doesn't happen, he doesn't get caught with his pants down, so to speak. So we're going to see. Absolutely. Gene says, we got to that comment. Brian, this is a great comment, man. Brian, what's going on, buddy? I appreciate you hopping on. Tom Brady also had Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin, Gronk. So it's hard to say that the wide receiver didn't play as big of a part as the running game. The running game mattered, but if it wasn't for the stud wide receiver group, then the Chiefs would have been able to stack the box. That's a good point. It's a good point, but my thing is you had Tom Brady, right? You had Tom Brady. So, to me, that offense does not click no matter who you have on the outside. Listen, if you obviously take Tom Brady out and insert Brad Johnson, right? I'm just saying, another Tampa Bay quarterback from back in the day. If you do that, I just don't think it has. So it's a hard assessment to me because Tom is so great. But I see your point. I do, 100%, right? It's just like we could go back to the greatest show on turf with Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Oz Hakeem, Marshall Faulk, right? Who was behind center? Kurt Warner. Could Trent Green be that guy to take on to the Super Bowl? Could he have been that guy? Probably not. This was all about Kurt Warner, right? So he had those. So and the quarterback is a huge part of that as well. But I absolutely agree what you're saying, 100%. So that, yes, the offense, you're right, had a big part to do with it. But let's not forget, Todd Bowles won that game, in my opinion. Todd Bowles was the MVP of that Super Bowl because he had a defensive scheme against the Kansas City Chiefs like no other, and he had Patrick Mahomes looking average, which we never thought would happen, right? So to me, again, goes to my theory that you win based on your defensive line and your offensive line. And that game was won by the defensive line, the defense side of the ball. They had the ball hawking guys and Winfield Jr. in the secondary, and they had the guys up front with JPP and the Dominican Sue that were consistently getting at Patrick Mahomes, and he could not have time to throw the ball. So that's my take on that. But Brian, I agree. They do look good, right, on paper. That is an issue, right? I agree with. But I'm just saying, for the long haul, I think O-line, defensive line is where to go. Brooks he does. Gene, listen, we already know about Brandon Brooks. He is not going to come back in lackluster shape. We already know that. But when you have, multiple injuries over multiple years, right? It's just, the thing is, you have to really question how much you're going to hold up. When your body starts breaking down like that, even though you're strong and your desire to come back is like no other, you don't know how it's all going to work. So I'm just saying they can't put all their eggs in the Brandon Brooks basket. They can't. There's a reason why he was being dangled out there. Okay, as trade bait. There was a reason why there was talks of him maybe being released. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that, but that was out there. So, maybe the rehab isn't as well as we thought. Maybe they're not as invested. I don't know. Who the hell knows nowadays with the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, Gene says, if you're a goalie and suck at white ring, that's not really fair, bro. Left tackle your whole life, then right tackle at a pro level. Listen, man, Gene, again, you're missing a point. I absolutely understand that you're switching positions. I get it. Okay, but here's the thing. Most of it is based on footwork, not hand-eye coordination. Okay, and most of it has to deal with attitude. And if your attitude does not allow you to want to be better, to learn an offensive system, to be the guy that you were drafted to be, then there's a problem. So we can sit here and argue back and forth about not saying it's fair. Listen, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. The guy was drafted that high because he was supposed to be a superior athlete. We drafted up to get this guy. Okay? So, yeah, fine. You want to say, yeah, he sucked at right tackle. But let's say he'll play at left tackle, right? All of a sudden, the mental incapacities, they become non-existent. All of a sudden, the mental issues become non-existent. All of a sudden, the getting upset in practices because you can't learn the playbook, that's okay, right? That goes away. No. Does it go away? This dude's got a problem, man. He's got a problem. And I'll tell you what, if he's getting beat out at the left tackle position by a guy who played rugby, who's never, ever played. Now, listen, that's the thing. If Jordan Mailata comes and he sticks up the joint, it's fair to say, all right, maybe we don't say he sucks. We say, you know what, maybe the game's not for him, right? But when you're an offensive lineman, a highly touted All-American offensive lineman, yes. If you come in no matter where you play and you can't get the footwork down, if you can't get the hand-eye coordination down over the course of an entire season, okay, working with one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL, then yes, maybe you just don't get it. Maybe you don't have the capability that you once thought. Listen, when you jump from the pro level to from the college level to the pro level, it's a different animal, man. The speed, the physicality, everything, man. Everything is different. Oh, 100%. Sean says, I love the trade. Yo, Sean, I love it. I love it, man. I love it, man. Sean, you're absolutely right. I love the trade because the Dolphins are going to suck. You're going to get 2 top 15 picks. You know what, Sean? I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, we're going to get a really good pick next year. Like, not only are we going to suck, but the Dolphins are going to suck too. So we both suck ass, and we both get a really good pick next year. So I love it. I love that comment. Dante checking in. Clemson is a top quarterback. DJ Clemson is a top quarterback to look at. Dante, I hope you're right. I don't know, don't follow, right? But if because I don't follow the college game as much. I get enough. My college game is fantasy, so I do the fantasy aspect of it. I look to guys like yourself who bring these up because I don't know, but all I know is Clemson. Listen, you're coming from Clemson. You got the pedigree, you got the talent. So again, the Eagles will be setting themselves up in a nice area next year for number one, knowing they have those couple picks in order to make some noise at that position. Bills and Pats got better. Miami play. Listen, the AFC East, man, that's where it's at. I mean, the Bills are superior. The Pats got much better. They were spending money like it was water out there in New England, and Miami plays both of them twice, and they're still back and forth the quarterback position. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting for Miami. I think they take a step back this year, and, obviously the Bills, to me, are definitely reign supreme in the AFC East. Dante, if Russell Wilson was a chief quarterback, wow. That's a great pick right there. That's a great Dante. I love that. If Russell Wilson was the Chiefs quarterback, that they would have maybe won. He's never had a line. Dante, I love this comment. I'll tell you why. So I love this comment because I've always said there's two guys, and that's Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, who have never had an offensive line. Their teams have never invested in their protection, and I never understood that. Never, ever, ever understood that. You have 2 generational talents at the quarterback position, and you've never invested in their protection. You always gave them what ifs. Every now and then, you had a really good offensive line, but that was it. That was it. You never formulated the entire line based on protecting your investment, which I never got. So that's a great point. Russell Wilson, as he may have, you're right, because again, one thing Mahomes is an unbelievable athlete. Okay, his speed on the ball, the way he can throw it at so many different variations is unlike no other. But Russell Wilson is listen, he's a student of the game. Okay, and I'm sorry, but Patrick Mahomes isn't there at that point yet. So Dante, you're right, man. That's a good point. I like it. He says the respect for Russell should have increased after the Chiefs lost. And what did that respect do, Dante? They put him up for trade. I should say, Russell Wilson started talking about trade because you're right. Russell Wilson was saying, yo, I'm tired of getting hit. You heard what he said. Russell said, I'm tired of getting hit, man. He went home to his beautiful wife, Sierra, and she said, you know what? I'm tired of massaging you all night long because you're getting hit by guys who can't play in front of you. So I completely agree. 100%. Vinny, sorry, guys, I'm getting all these comments are coming in quick. I think if Sirianni's offense is similar to what he ran with the Colts, the receivers will be better. He wants the receivers to win one-on-one like Doug did. That corner position is critical with all. Yes. Listen, Vinny, I agree 100%. This is the comment of the day right here. Vinny, I love it. Vinny, thanks again for following and checking in. Vinny, make sure you get in those contests too, man. I'd love to pull your name out of the hat April 23rd. But Vinny says, I think if Sirianni's offense is similar to what he ran, the one-on-one like Doug did, that is the most important part of this concept or this comment right here. Because if Sirianni can run an offense that formulates more space and more open looks, that's not going to ask the receivers to win one-on-ones, which is actually going to play into the strengths of guys like Jalen Reagor. So we'll see what happens. But I like this comment because I am very curious to see what happens when you have a mobile quarterback where you have to have a spy and you have a guy that has a lot of speed in Jalen Reagor who has to learn the playbook, has to get better, obviously. Okay, and he is being compared to, obviously, who is he being compared to? Justin Jefferson, obviously, because we missed on that pick and we missed on DK Metcalf, right? So because we missed on all these guys, you're going to constantly be compared. So it is what it is. But I'm curious about that. And the second part is that corner position is critical. Yes. Like I mentioned, everybody got better on the other side of the ball. Somehow Darius Slay needs a partner. And if you let Jalen Mills go, which I'm sad to see the Green Goblin go. I wanted to see him. He's still here on maybe a 1-year incentive-laden deal, but he got paid. He got a lot of money. Good for him. I think he was done wrong a little bit here. People got a little upset way too quick, but we don't have that number 2 guy. So I would hope that they look at that. I'm just going on past history that I really feel like they're going to bypass that and they're going to go offensive line. I could be wrong. Adam says, can we say the Eagles trust the process? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We'll see. Dante says, Gene, cornerbacks. Gene says, man, Gene is all about Andre Dillard, man. Gene's bringing all the Andre Dillard love. He must be, you must be his agent or something. He never got beat out. He was injured. I don't know where you saw Dillard play outside of one half of football at right tackle. Again, Gene, listen, man, I love you, man, but what explain to me why that matters when we're talking about the mental capacity of an NFL player. I'm just curious. Okay, I'm curious to where that matters at all. I'm curious to say when, I'm talking to John Clark and John Clark sending audio of a guy like Andre Dillard visually upset, okay, having to be consoled, having to take mental breaks in the practice bubble, okay? That has nothing to do with playing left tackle or right tackle, okay? That has to do with the speed of the game. That's what it has to do. The speed of the game, okay? The different attributes of the game that is just tearing him up, okay? You keep saying he never got beat out. He was injured. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is, he came in here no matter what, was given an opportunity, and he couldn't play. He couldn't play. We listen, there's a reason why he wasn't on the field, man. There's a reason why he wasn't on the field. It's because he couldn't play. And then guess what? Whether you want to say he never got beat out. Okay, well, give me this. He was injured, right? So if you're injured and you weren't playing well in the beginning, and the guy that goes in for you plays 10 times better, then yes, you get beat out. Why would you put the guy in that couldn't play? So that, to me, I don't agree with that, man. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. All I know is the guy showed he couldn't play up to the level that we drafted. He was a liability. And when you're on the blind side, listen, I don't care if you couldn't play right tackle. You want to keep talking about this right tackle thing? Great. Big deal. Well, last time I checked, when you play at left tackle too, Carson Wentz was getting abused as well. Okay, so if you want to go to catch 20, you want to go with the game 22 film, I'm all about it, man. When you break down the film, get it on film, bring it, me and you will go live, we'll throw the film up, and you can explain to me every single part of that left tackle position. Okay, break it down. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to break it down. Okay, if I was an analyst like that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I'd be working for the Philadelphia Eagles or another team. Okay, well, again, what I'm talking about is his absolute attributes, his mental capacity to play the offensive line position. I don't care if the dude's playing center, guard, or tackle, doesn't matter. You have to have a mindset. You have to have a dog mentality. You can't be soft. If you have a soft mentality, you can't play offensive line in the NFL. It's as simple as that, man. That's all I got to say. That's all I'm saying about it. I appreciate your comments. Love seeing you get in here, man. I'll give you props every day of the week. Wire to Wire podcast. Check them out. Guys do a tremendous job. I'm all about the love here, Gene. I just don't agree with what you're saying when it comes to Andre Dillard. Now, Dante says, Gene corners switch to safety all the time. Some things are interchangeable like Legos. Yeah, I mean, they do. You're right. 100%. You're right about that. Vinny says, one guy I'm excited about is the offensive coordinator. I really like what he did with Justin Herbert. In San Diego or Vegas, whatever, I call, or Los Angeles. I'm sorry. I always get with the San Diego, Las Vegas. I love San Diego name. I love the Oakland name. It's always be San Diego, Oakland to me. But yeah, maybe he really helps Hurts. You're talking about Justin Herbert, who had a tremendous rookie season out there for the Chargers, who I think he will really come on as well. Dude's got an unbelievable cannon as an arm, man. 100%. Dan checking in. What's up, Dan? Good morning, Flyer. Nice checking in. Love it. Dante says, I know people mentioned DK Metcalf and why the Eagles didn't draft him, but he was a big what if. And Seattle got lucky, to be honest. Don't really blame the Eagles for that. Just looking for that. I actually don't disagree with that, man. I just actually don't disagree with that. Because I keep saying this all the time. As much as I love DK Metcalf, there's other teams that passed on him as well. We're not talking about a guy who, we passed at number 8 and went at number 15. A lot of teams passed on DK Metcalf. Wasn't just us, right? It wasn't just us. There was a lot. So, yes, I never say, look, I can't believe it. No, I look at the intangibles that said, he had some issues that every team in the NFL was looking at. Every team in the NFL was looking at the off-the-field issues that whether they were true or untrue didn't matter. Everybody was looking at the issues that said he was going to be hard to learn a playbook. Maybe he was a problem, right? It is what it is. They have to do their due diligence, and that's what they did. So I don't blame them at all for that. I do blame them on the Justin Jefferson pick. Justin Jefferson, again, last year was the most, NFL ready out of any receiver in that draft. He was sitting right there for you. You completely passed on him for a guy who is a what if, a maybe, instead of a guy who's an absolute constant. So I do blame him on that. But Dante, I agree. So Dante checking it says, I love Dante. This is all about love here, man. 100%. Shameless plug. There's never a shameless plug. You plug whatever you want here, man. I'm the host of the East Coast Gridiron Podcast. Check us out. I make takes like this all the time. Well, here's what we do, Dante. This is what we do. Do us a favor. Go give us a like. Heat Ratio Sports. Like us. YouTube. Okay, check out the YouTube page. Check out the Facebook page. Check out the Twitter handle. Right at Heat Ratio Sports, and type your name in this box right here. Okay, East Coast Gridiron Podcast. We'll make sure that we subscribe to your podcast as well. Make sure we subscribe to your handle so we can get these thoughts going back and forth, because it's all about love, man. We're all trying to do the same thing here. Love every second of it. I love the different takes. I love the different ideas. It's great, man. So hook it up. We'll hook it up, and maybe we'll talk about a little collaboration down the line as well. So, Dante, what's your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? So let's do this. We got about 17 minutes left on this show. I want to go an hour because I got to hand this over to Betting for Breakfast Boys at 11 o'clock. So we're going to do a couple more minutes on Jalen Hurts, and then we're going to go in some Sixers talk here because I want to hit one of the Sixers and Nets, right? Dante says, been subscribed. Dante, I had no idea, man. No idea. Thank you, man. I don't look at the subscribers and see who they are, but I really appreciate it. So I'll make sure that we follow that back as well. You have my word. Right after we get on this show, we'll get on there and we'll go back and forth. Now, what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? I like Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you why. Me and Gene just got into it a little bit about, the mental capacity of Andre Dillard and offensive lineman. What I will say is, the mental capacity of a quarterback is even that much greater. Jalen Hurts, to me, is a proven leader. Now, I'm not going to talk about Jalen Hurts as the physical quarterback, right? Let's not talk about the physical attributes right now. Let's just talk about the mental attributes. As a guy, or I should say a kid, who's faced adversity, whether it be his collegiate career or his NFL career, right? Whether he brought it on himself or not, it doesn't matter. He has done it as the ultimate and consummate professional. That's what he has done. He walked into, number one, an opportunity last year where he had or I should say a situation to where he had no idea what was going on. Zero. He had no idea what was going on. So what he did was listen, you never heard him come out and say anything bad about Carson Wentz. Never heard him say anything about the team. He just completely held the clipboard, followed the practice squad reps, got in there when he had to work on plays, learned the playbook, watched the film, and when he took over in week 14 as a starter, I know he came in week 13, but when he came week 14, what does he do? Boom. He gets the locker room behind him. He leads a team, looks a little different. The offensive line that said they couldn't play. The team that said they couldn't play actually looked pretty okay with Jalen Hurts. So my point is he's able to face adversity on levels that a lot of these guys can't. That is number one in my book, right? Number one in my book, man. 100%. Number one is the mental capacity of your game when you're a quarterback. That's a reason why Tom Brady is able to play for so long. Not because of it, not only because of his physical attributes, because of his mental capacity and his understanding of the game. So that's where I think Jalen Hurts is above the rest in that class. Okay, that's why I like Jalen Hurts. He can work on mechanics. He can work on certain things like the run first mentality, things of that nature, just like Lamar Jackson did. So I really want to see what Jalen can do. I do. I think he has the opportunity to be a very good quarterback. Do I say he's going to win a Super Bowl? I have no idea. That's a crapshoot. We have no idea to say that. No clue. Everybody thought Lamar Jackson was winning the Super Bowl because he won MVP. How does that work, right? We have no idea. But let's give the guy a chance to see if he can take the mental attributes that he has, the leadership control that he has, and be able to put that out on the field. That's what I want to see. And I think that listen, I did the numbers. And I don't have it written down in front of me, so I'm going to ad-lib because I did the numbers. Week 14, 15, and 16, okay, from a fantasy perspective, which still emulates the NFL stats, he was a number 7 quarterback in week 14. He was a number 2 quarterback in week 15, and he was a number 7 quarterback, okay, in week 16. He had over 300 yards rushing, rushed for 2 touchdowns, threw for 875 yards, okay, and threw for 5 touchdowns. So, listen, and he threw for 3 or 4 picks. I get it. He's a young kid. He's going to make mistakes, right? That's okay. I'm not expecting him to be the MVP this year, but I really see a lot. I know I'm going to get killed for this, but I see a lot of Russell Wilson in him. I do. When Russell Wilson first came into this league, nobody gave him a chance because of his size, and they said he wasn't as accurate with the ball. But what did Russell Wilson have? He had the mental capacity of the NFL game. He was willing to face adversity. He was a proven leader. He was a locker room guy. He was a student of the game. He watched the film. He studied. He got better. And look at Russell Wilson now. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is going to be Russell Wilson, but I'm saying the whole avenue and the path that Russell took is the same way that this is shaping up for Jalen Hurts. So I like Jalen. I like his character. I like his leadership. And I'm excited to see what he can do in a full season. I really am. Dan says, J. Joel was much more productive college player, but seeing DK's body speed, you're right. You're right. But again, Dan, the whole problem is it's all about the off the field issues. That's always going to come up, right? And again, whether we agree with it or not, we have no idea if it's confirmed, if it's not confirmed, you take some chances. So, I mean, I don't hold it against them for that. I don't hold it against them for that. Dante says it does, or Adam, it doesn't matter if the Eagles had Metcalf or Jefferson. Our offense couldn't block for the quarterback, and they wouldn't have time. Well, here's the thing, and I was saying this for weeks leading up to it, that Jalen Hurts hides the deficiencies of the offensive line because he's mobile with his legs, and he is a run-first guy. So a lot of those sacks, a lot of those protection issues, a lot of that fell on Carson for holding the ball too long, not making the proper reads, and being afraid to be mobile. Now, there's also a part of that on the coaching staff as well that want to make Carson into more of a mobile quarterback so he didn't consistently get hurt and take hits. So there's a lot of things into that. But, when Jalen Hurts came in, that offense started to run a little bit. You know why? Because again, you have to set a spy up on Jalen because you know he's going to run. He's able to be mobile, to get out of the pocket, to be able to swing out, to be able to roll left, be able to roll right, run that pass option, right? So a lot of that hides your deficiencies on the offensive line. So that's why I agree. Dante, great show. Gene and I talk pretty often as well. Listen, dude, I love Gene. Gene, here's the thing. One thing I'll say, and again, I wire to wire, man. I ain't lying. I subscribe to wire to wire. Gene's a local guy. I like Gene. Listen, we're not always going to agree, right? But the best is we can go back and forth, which is great. No personal attacks, none of that crap, right? It's just boom, boom, boom. Let's just keep going back and forth. And Gene does a great job. Gene's passionate, just like I'm passionate. So I love when Gene pops on, and I love when I pop on, and we give each other a different perspective. So, and again, nobody's perspective is wrong. That's one thing. Nobody's perspective is wrong. People always think different ways, and they have. Listen, if you can bring your point with backup and passion, I'm in all day long. So I agree 100%, 1,000%. Give a guy a chance. His mind is strong and he's smart. Yes. Dante, brilliant comment. And that's why I think he has, we hear this word, intangibles. He has the intangibles, right? That's what I'm looking for, the intangibles. When you're a quarterback in the NFL, you need to have the intangibles. And that's what I'm looking for, Jalen Hurts. And that's what I see. And that's what I get excited about. Dan says, Jalen Hurts says, yes, exactly. Give him a chance, man. Give him a chance. 100%. Dante, agree on Russell Wilson. It might not be popular opinion, but right. It's not. But you have to look at the path. You're right, Dante. Listen, it'd be ridiculous for me to sit here and say, oh, Jalen Hurts is the next Russell Wilson. No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you go back, you do the history of Russell Wilson and you watch his path and you watch what the skeptics have said and you watch the scouting reports and the way he came into the team, right? It's all leading up in the same way. So listen, great for us if he turns into a guy like Russell Wilson. I don't know, but the path is there, right? The path is there. Dan says he entered a terrible lineup. Exactly. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. A horrifically boring offense. I agree with you, Tony. Right. Dan, remember, we were even the offensive line, even the players on the sideline looked like they were dead. There was no energy. There was no positive vibe. There was no nothing. He should have been inserted into that lineup in week 7 or 8, but they waited too late. But at least when they did, you seen they were rejuvenated. They were happy. They were enjoy playing football again. And it's amazing what happens when you're in a very favorable environment, especially in the NFL and sports as well. So yeah, I was all in on that. I thought DK's issues were not. He had two. He had the injury issue, and there was a couple off the field issues based on not learning a playbook and not wanting to study game film, things of that nature. So again, they were minor, Dan, but at the same time, I mean, listen, they have to do their due diligence, man. That's why I keep saying they have to do their due diligence. Dante says, I'm in Delaware. So, oh, cool. Awesome, Dante. Because, excuse me, our buddy Al Griffin, give him a follow as well. We'll be doing Half Court Heat tonight for the Sixers show that me, Al, and Andre do. Al is a fellow Delaware guy as well. So you guys are both local. I like it. George, my buddy George checking in. Nothing. This is George, my man. I love George. Not to go off talking, because somebody tell me if Jim Lynam owns a mirror. His beard and hair, seriously, looks like a leprechaun on crack. Wow, George really getting the old man, getting to the coach, man. Getting the leader, Mr. Jim Lynam. Listen, I'm not going to go leprechaun on crack, okay? But what I can say is when I seen the beard the other day on NBC Sports, I was like, whoa. Like, come on, Jimmy. You got to do a little shaving there, man. You got to do a little trim up. So, George, stick around for a minute because we're getting the Sixers right real quick. Last two comments. Vinny says, along Carson's poor play, dug route concepts really hurt Carson. Can't send receivers 15 yards downfield every play with a poor line that changed under Sirianni and Steichen with more mesh routes. Now, I completely agree, Vinny. The 5 to 7 step drops, the 15-yard post, the deep post, the go routes. He didn't help. Definitely didn't help. right? So he definitely, he contributed to Carson's, untimely regression, but. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious. Last one for the Eagles. Carson had the same team. Jalen did better. You're right, Dante. Let's close it out on that while we go to the Sixers right now. I said it before. Carson had the same team. Jalen did better. No excuses. So again, completely agree. So let's flip this for the last 7 minutes. Let's talk a little Sixers. Okay, I want to hit all ends here because I've been a Sixers guy. I've been a Sixers concernist, if that's even a word. I've been very concerned about their lack of firepower when it comes about going up against the Brooklyn Nets, and the trade deadline comes and goes. And we're going to break this down even more tonight on Half Court Heat. Don't forget tonight, 8 o'clock, Half Court Heat right here at Heat Ratio Sports, where we talk Sixers and NBA, break everything down. But what I will say is for the people who say they're not concerned about LaMarcus Aldridge are nuts. You guys are absolutely insane. Okay. And I know I have some team guys on the Heat Ratio Sports team as well. I don't know if my man JD's watching. I know he'll be in there tonight. So me and him will have a little back and forth because he's saying he's not worried. I completely disagree. Everybody's looking at, okay, we added LaMarcus Aldridge to be a stud. No, let's understand something. I said this last night. I'll say it again. The Brooklyn Nets are built around a big three: Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. Now, if you take those three guys and you're sprinkling in a guy like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, and you still have guys like Joe Harris coming off the bench, to me, that's an issue. Okay, and all we did was get George Hill. Now, again, George Hill could be a great player, man. Look, I love this team. There you go, East Coast Gridiron. So everybody check them out as well. East Coast Gridiron right there, YouTube page. Again, follow at Heat Racer Sports on YouTube. But give my man Dante East Coast Gridiron a follow as well. I can't wait to get into his takes. And again, me, he's a football guy. I love it. So, Dante, me and you will have to get into this. We'll get a cross-promoted show going on with the East Coast Gridiron boys and Heat Ratio Sports family as well. We'll get some live conversation. Maybe we'll do we'll talk to Gene and see if we get the wire-to-wire boys as well. We'll have a three-way on all. We'll have a triple box up on the screen, all three shows, and we'll do an Eagles roundtable. I like that idea. So let's talk about that. Maybe Eagles roundtable. We'll do that as well. Thanks for checking in as always, Dante, and giving us that fire. I absolutely love it. Adam says the Nets got some firepower. The Sixers should be worried. It didn't make them right, and that's the problem. The Sixers should be worried, right? And I'm all about Joel Embiid being the guy. I am, but again, it's Joel and everybody else. Tobias is really starting in. My boy Vance, he mentioned it. I love Vance's his takes. He is spot on, and he could go all world. Give him a follow as well. And George says Sixers better hope one of the big. George, this is my problem, right? This is my problem. Sixers hope that one of the big three blow out. I mean, listen, I don't hope ill will on anybody, but my problem is you can't. Ben Simmons can't defend everybody. Everybody keeps saying we're going to win with defense. We're going to win with defense. We're going to win with defense. Okay, well, just to tell you, you could say whatever you want about LaMarcus Aldridge, but LaMarcus Aldridge can play at many different levels. Okay, he is deadly at 20 feet. Deadly. Okay, he's still got the ability to go down low on a block as well. So what this move does, it gives you two guys in DeAndre Jordan and LaMarcus Aldridge that you could go in and out with. Think about that. That's phenomenal, right? Listen, I'm not trying to be the negative Nelly here. I love the Sixers. I love what they're doing. But again, this just isn't on paper. A lot of people can say, on paper. No, it's not on paper, man. Watch these guys play. Okay, well, if they're clicking on all cylinders, we're in a 7-game series. Again, if the Sixers would have made the move for Lowry, if they would have made a move for Levine or Beal or something like that, I would have felt so much better. But again, George Hill does not excite me at all. It just doesn't. Listen, he's another ball handler, which we obviously needed on the bench, but we needed more firepower, and we didn't get it. So, listen, we'll see what happens. I have no idea. Maybe for some reason somebody takes out the Nets before we beat them, before we meet them in the finals. I don't know, but again, this isn't one guy. Like everybody keeps saying, well, what about LeBron when he won in Cleveland? He didn't have anybody either. Just like Joel. LeBron, you can't compare that to what the Sixers are doing right now. You just can't. Okay, because LeBron was all world. He's on another level. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. You can't. George said, well, if Howard can't learn this, exactly. George, that's the problem. I love Dwight Howard. I've been on this show in nauseum saying that Dwight Howard was probably the most important free agent acquisition of the entire team in the offseason, just because of the way he's allowed them to rest Joel during games, okay, when he is healthy, because the whole thing about Dwight Howard was he gives you enough minutes to where you could sit him back, you could sit Joel during the game, and instead of going back to back and giving him games off, what you do is just limit his minutes, right? So instead of him playing 38 minutes, you only play on 24 minutes because you allowed Dwight Howard to be in the mix. So I think that was very, very, very important, right? Very important. But here's the thing. Number one, you're right. He has to be disciplined on a court. He can't be. Now, the other night he got thrown out was ridiculous. Last night, a little different story. And he has the reputation that, he's got that Draymond Green reputation. So he has to understand that at any time he can pop off. Right. And people take things the wrong way. So he definitely has to get that adjusted. Listen, again, I would have loved to see, I told you before, I would have loved to see LaMarcus Aldridge on this team. I would have loved to see them pick up LaMarcus Aldridge, because I think that would have been a really, really good pickup for the Sixers, because I'd rather see LaMarcus Aldridge enter the game instead of Dwight Howard. So, again, a lot of different issues coming up for the Sixers. We'll see how it all plays out. I just don't know. I mean, look, Dan's got a good point. How did our D look against Terrence Mann? Right? How did our D against Terrence Mann from the Clippers last night? Right, but again, we're saying our defense is going to stop that big three with +2, right? Big three +2, right? So again, I'm concerned. I am. I'm legitimately concerned. Let's see it all play out, but I can't help but say that I'm not feeling good going forward because of what it looks like, going to be in the finals. Now, Vinny says, Tony, I've long thought that Brooklyn was the best team, but if they didn't address their defense in the buyout market, can you win that way? Yes. And I'll tell you why. Here's what I'll say about that. So I bring this up all the time. When the lights go on and the playoffs start, studs play differently. Now, what I mean by that is last year, James Harden, and the year before, if you go back in the postseason, even though they didn't win, James Harden played a different level of defense than he played all year long in the playoffs. These guys will step up and play a different style of defense in the playoffs. LaMarcus Aldridge will be a better defender right now than what, down low than they have right now. Okay. DeAndre Jordan is just a big presence. He doesn't have good footwork. He's a little overbearing. So this is an upgrade for them on the defense side of the ball. Okay. But they definitely will be able to step it up in the postseason, right? Definitely will be able to step it up in the postseason. So I will tell you that. So I'm not concerned about that. Because when the lights go on, you see a different mentality. It's a different game. Listen, they're kind of just going through the ropes right now. They are, right? They're perfecting their solid rotation. They're perfecting their spacing on the court. They're learning how to play one another. Okay, obviously minus KD. So again, once the playoffs happen, the lights go on and the defense will come. I'm telling you right now, the defense will come. Steve Nash in no way is going to have a team that can't play a lick of defense. Now, again, do I expect them to be Dennis Rodman and Ben Wallace and Ben Simmons? Absolutely not. But they're going to play a different level than what they're accustomed to right now. And here's a great point on this. Dan says, Tony is so right. Not because he said Tony's right, but and again, it's just Dan agreeing. He said, once playoffs begin, I guarantee you the Nets D will change, but will our offense change? And that's the point, Dan. And that's the point to the audience before we get out of here. Will our offense change? And that's what I'm scared about. I don't think, again, we have enough firepower to hang with those guys. Listen, because at the end of the day, think about it. If we're scoring 120 a night, and it's just throwing this out there, if the Sixers score 120 a night and the Nets score 140 a night, they're already plus 20. Now, if the Nets D up the Sixers, that 120 drops down to 100. If the Sixers D up the Nets, that 140 maybe becomes 130, 125. They're still 15 points more than the Sixers. They're a 20-point scorer away consistently from hanging with the Nets, in my opinion. It is what it is, and you're not going to change it. Again, we'll talk more about that tonight. Check us in half-court heat as well. Half-court heat tonight. But before we get out of here, let me say this. A lot of big things going on. I got to prop this up, so please listen up real fast, okay? We have a lot of stuff going on. I want you guys to get involved. Right now, I want you guys to get involved. Number one, National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. We're giving away bobbleheads every single month. Huge, right? This is huge. We're giving them away. So right there, you see Joe Lenardi, you see Sister Jean, 2 of them each. So that's 4 altogether. All you need to do, go like at Heat Ratio Sports, retweet the status, and give us a follow and subscription on YouTube. Do that. You'll be entered in. These come out April 25th. These are handcrafted, individually numbered, come with a certificate of authenticity directly from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. Give those guys a follow as well at Bobblehead Hall, because they are the guys promoting the contest with us. You have to follow both. Another thing that I want to let you guys know on, big plans this week. Okay, throw this out here. I'm extremely excited about this. We will have on this show when one of the daughters from Yingling, okay, her name is Wendy. So Wendy runs the day-to-day operations. One of the owners of the Yingling Brewery will be on with a one-on-one interview with your host here, Tony Jigsaw'S Cutillo, at Heat Ratio Sports. And what we'll be doing, we'll talking about number one, the evolution of the brewery. We'll talk number two, the evolution of the partnership between the Philadelphia Phillies and Yingling. And we will be giving away, ready for this? Five packs, 5 gift packs straight from Yingling. Okay, so we'll be giving away 5 of them. I'll tell you right now, you look in the back, you see that hat, you will get a hat straight from Yingling. You will get a 6-pack of the embossed limited edition Yingling lager with the Phillies logo on it. You will get a glass that's etched with the Phillies logo and Yingling. You will get an official baseball that has the Yingling logo on it. You'll get a string-size backpack, and as always, you will get an Aaron Nola shirt. Again, official Phillies Aaron Nola shirt, and a nice little program in there to lay it all out. Come in a big box. Okay, listen, we got them all, man. We're working on this. With so many more giveaways coming up, and these are legit. These aren't, again, no coupon codes here, man. Eventually, yeah, we'll have a couple coupon code sponsors, but the main guys right now that we want you to support at Yingling Brewery, at Bobblehead Hall, at Heat Ratio Sports, get in the game. Everybody, as always, thanks for this wonderful show. Check it in. Keep it locked right here. Betting for Breakfast, guys, coming up at 11 a.m. talking PGA fantasy golf. Like, listen, you got to. These guys are hitting Mark, Dave. These guys are 3-0 this weekend. They were in on the Honda Classic. And again, a new golf show coming as well, starting tomorrow. So that'll drop a couple golf shows in this network, man. We're looking up. But as always, like I say, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next Jigsaw'S Judgment. You never know when we're going to pop up. Hit the subscription, hit the bell. You never know when we're going to go live. All right, everybody, have a great Sunday.